What if everything your parents taught you about money was wrong? Hey there, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you found this. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most life-changing books ever written about money and financial freedom. A book that has sold over 40 million copies worldwide. A book that has changed the way millions of people think about work, money, and wealth. We're talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. Now, before you think, oh, I've heard of this book, let me ask you something. Have you actually applied what's in this book? Because here's the truth. Most people read this book and feel inspired, but very few actually change their life because of it. Today, we're going to make sure you are one of the few. So sit back, grab a notebook, because in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to walk you through every single lesson of this book in a way that actually sticks. Let's begin. Part 1. Two Dads, Two Worlds. Imagine a young boy 9 years old growing up in Hawaii. His name is Robert, and he has two father figures in his life. His first father, his biological dad, we'll call him the poor dad. Now, don't get me wrong. This man wasn't poor in character. He was educated, hardworking, and deeply loving. He had a PhD. He worked for the government. He had a stable job, a steady salary. But despite all of this, he struggled with money his entire life. He died without much to his name. Then there was his best friend Mike's father, we'll call him the rich dad. This man never finished 8th grade. He had no college degree. By most traditional standards, he was less educated. But here's the twist. He became one of the richest men in Hawaii. And the difference between these two men had nothing to do with intelligence, or hard work, or even luck. The difference was their mindset about money. One believed, I can't afford it. The other asked, how can I afford it? One believed, money is the root of all evil. The other believed, the lack of money is the root of all evil. One worked for money his entire life. The other made money work for him. And young Robert had a front row seat to both worlds. He got to study both mindsets. And what he learned, he poured into this book. So let's start with the very first and perhaps the most important lesson. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. When Robert was 9 years old, he went to Rich Dad and said, teach me how to make money. Rich Dad said, okay, come work for me. He gave Robert a job working in his store, organizing shelves, cleaning. And guess what Rich Dad paid him? 10 cents an hour. That's it, 10 cents. Robert was furious. He worked hard. He showed up. And for weeks, he got almost nothing. Finally, he went back to Rich Dad, frustrated and angry. He said, this isn't fair. You're not paying me enough. And Rich Dad smiled. He said, good. Now you're starting to think like most poor people do. He explained something profound. Most people work for money because of two emotions, fear and greed. They're afraid of not having money, so they go get a job. Then they get paid, and greed kicks in. They want more things, more comfort, more status. So they buy more. Then they're broke again, and the fear comes back. This cycle repeats their entire life. I call it the rat race. Fear makes people stay in jobs they hate. Greed makes them spend everything they earn. And then they're back to square one, working for money. The rich, on the other hand, don't let emotions control their financial decisions. They learn to think clearly. They learn to make money work for them. And here's the beautiful, powerful truth. The job is not the answer. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, I need my job. I have bills to pay. And you're right. Keep your job. But understand your job is not your path to financial freedom. It's a temporary solution to a permanent problem. The rich build assets. We'll talk about what an asset is in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about the second lesson that changes everything. Lesson 2. Why teach financial literacy? Let me ask you a question. When you were in school, did they ever teach you how money works? Did anyone sit you down and explain the difference between an asset and a liability? Did anyone teach you about compound interest, taxes, investing, or cash flow? Probably not. And that, according to Kiyosaki, is one of the biggest problems in our society. We spend 12 to 16 years in school, learning math, science, history, literature, but nothing about money. And then we graduate, get a job, earn money, and most of us have no idea what to do with it. Here is the most important definition you will ever learn about money. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. Simple, right? But here's where it gets shocking. Most people think their house is an asset. Rich Dad says your house is a liability. Why? Because every month, your house takes money out of your pocket. Mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, insurance. It doesn't pay you. You pay it. Now, a rental property that generates income every month? That is an asset. A car? Liability. It costs you money every month. A business that runs without you and generates cash flow? Asset. Stocks that pay dividends? Asset. Designer clothes and gadgets? Liabilities disguised as status symbols. The rich focus on buying assets. The middle class focus on buying liabilities, but they call them assets. And this one misunderstanding, this one confusion between assets and liabilities, is the reason why most people never get rich, even if they earn good money. Rich Dad put it simply, rich people acquire assets. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. Think about that for a moment. Every time you get a raise, where does that money go? Usually into a bigger house, a newer car, nicer vacations, more liabilities. The rich get a raise and they buy more assets. This is the wealth gap in a nutshell. Now, once you understand assets and liabilities, you're ready for the third lesson. And this one might make you uncomfortable. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. Here's a harsh truth. Your employer is building their dream, not yours. Every hour you work, you're making someone else rich. You're building their asset column, their business, their wealth. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a job. Kiyosaki doesn't say quit your job tomorrow. He says, while you have your job, start building your business on the side. Mind your own business. What does that mean? It means keep your day job to pay your bills, but use your free time, your energy, and your extra money to build your asset column. What goes into your asset column? Real estate that generates rental income, stocks and index funds, bonds, royalties from intellectual property books, music, software, businesses that don't require your constant presence. Notice something? None of these require you to physically be there, trading time for money. The goal is passive income money that flows into your pocket whether you work that day or not. Imagine waking up one morning and checking your bank account and money came in while you slept. That's what assets do. That's financial freedom. Now here's the reality check. Most people never start building their asset column because they think they need more money first. But here's the thing, you don't need a lot of money to start. You need financial education, discipline, and the willingness to start small. A stock investment of $50 a month. A small side hustle that generates $200 a month. One rental unit. One digital product. You don't build wealth overnight. You build it brick by brick. But you have to start. And you have to start now. Because the longer you wait, the more time the rat race has to trap you. Lesson 4. The power of corporations and taxes. Now, this lesson is a little more technical, but stick with me, because it's eye-opening. Here's a question. Why do the rich seem to pay less in taxes, even though they earn more? It all comes down to how corporations work. When you're an employee, this is what happens. You earn money, the government takes taxes, you spend what's left. When you own a corporation, this is what happens. You earn money, you spend on business expenses, you pay taxes on what's left. See the difference? Employees pay taxes before they can spend. Business owners pay taxes after they've spent on legitimate business expenses. The rich use corporations to legally reduce their tax burden. Their cars, meals, travel, phone bills, many of these become business expenses. Things that employees pay with after-tax dollars. Business owners pay with pre-tax dollars. Now, I'm not telling you to break any laws. Everything Kiyosaki talks about is perfectly legal. It's just financial intelligence. The rich hire accountants and tax attorneys, and they save far more in taxes than they pay these professionals. The poor and middle class, they do their own taxes or use basic software and end up overpaying for decades. Financial education is the most profitable investment you'll ever make. Because when you understand money, the rules of the game change in your favor. Lesson 5. The rich invent money. Let me tell you about two people. Person A graduates from college, gets a great job, works hard for 30 years, saves diligently, and retires with enough to live comfortably. Nothing wrong with that. Respect. Person B graduates from college, works a job, but also spends evenings learning about investing, real estate, and business. They buy their first small investment property at 28. By 35, they own 3 properties. By 45, they're generating more from passive income than from their job. They retire at 50 with full financial freedom. Same starting point. Completely different outcomes. What's the difference? Financial intelligence. Kiyosaki says, the rich invent money. What does that mean? It means they use creativity, knowledge, and courage to find opportunities that others overlook. Here's a real example from the book. Kiyosaki and his friend once found a house in foreclosure. The owner needed to sell quickly and sold it far below market value. They bought it, fixed it slightly, and sold it at market price. Profit, tens of thousands of dollars. Time taken, a few months. Now, to most people, this seems impossible or too risky. But to someone with financial education, it's just an opportunity. The world is filled with opportunities, but you can only see them when you have the right financial education. Rich Dad always said, the most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it can create enormous wealth. Train your mind. Read books. Take courses. Find mentors. Learn about investing. Learn about real estate. Learn about business. Because the more you learn, the more opportunities you'll see. And opportunities, my friend, are how wealth is created. Lesson 6. Work to learn, not just to earn. Here's a piece of advice that will change how you think about your career. Most people work to earn money. They look for the highest paying job. They look for stability, benefits, pension, and there's nothing wrong with earning money. But Kiyosaki adds a powerful dimension. Work to learn. Early in his life, Kiyosaki worked for free at a company that specialized in international trade just to learn. He took a job in sales that he hated just to learn how to communicate and sell. He joined the Marine Corps to learn discipline and leadership. None of these jobs were about the paycheck. They were about the skills. And here's why this matters. To be financially free, you need a combination of skills: financial education, understanding money and investing, sales and marketing, how to communicate value, management of people, systems, and time, leadership, how to inspire and guide others. Most highly educated people are specialists. They're brilliant at one thing, but financial success requires a broad set of skills. Kiyosaki recommends taking jobs, even lower-paying ones, that teach you skills you don't have yet. A doctor who understands business will always outperform one who doesn't. An engineer who can sell will always have more opportunities than one who can't. Don't just climb the ladder. Make sure the ladder is leaning against the right wall. Work to learn, and never stop learning. The 5 obstacles to financial freedom. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I understand all this, but why don't more people do it? Great question. Kiyosaki identifies 5 main obstacles that keep people from achieving financial freedom even when they know what to do. Obstacle, hason, fear. Everyone is afraid of losing money, but the rich understand failure is part of the journey. Winners fail a lot. They just don't quit. Rich Dad said, the primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage fear. Don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid of never trying. Obstacle. #2. Cynicism. The economy is bad. Real estate is a scam. The stock market is rigged. It won't work for me. Cynics love to find reasons why something won't work. The rich stay curious and keep learning despite uncertainty. Obstacle. #3. Laziness. Here's the surprising part. It's often the busiest people who are the laziest when it comes to their finances. They stay busy with work and never make time to manage their money or build their assets. Rich Dad's cure for laziness? A little greed. Ask yourself, what would my life look like if I didn't have to worry about money? Use that vision as fuel. Obstacle. #4. Bad habits. We spend first, save second. The rich save and invest first, spend second. This is the habit of paying yourself first. Before you pay your bills, invest in your asset column even if it's just a small amount. This creates healthy financial pressure that forces you to be creative. Obstacle 15. Arrogance. Many people, especially educated people, think they know everything about money. But financial arrogance is expensive. The moment you think you don't need to learn more, you stop growing. The rich are always students. They hire experts. They remain humble and curious. Overcome these 5 obstacles and nothing can stop you. 10 steps to awaken your financial genius. Kiyosaki ends the book with a powerful set of action steps. Here they are. 1. Find a reason greater than reality. Your why has to be bigger than your excuses. 2. Make daily choices. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the kind of future you're creating. 3. Choose your friends carefully. Surround yourself with people who inspire you financially. 4. Master one formula, then learn a new one. Don't diversify until you've mastered one area of investing. 5. Pay yourself first. Invest before you pay bills, even if it's just $10. 6. Pay your brokers and advisors well. Good financial advice is an investment, not a cost. 7. Be an Indian giver. Always expect a return on every investment. 8. Use assets to buy luxuries. Want a nice car? Buy an asset first that pays for it. 9. Choose heroes. Find role models, real investors, entrepreneurs, people who've done what you want to do. 10. Teach, and you shall receive. Share what you learn. The more you teach, the deeper you understand. Conclusion and call to action. So there you have it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad in its full, story-driven, motivational glory. Let me leave you with this thought. The school system was designed for the industrial age. It teaches you to be a good employee, and there's honor in that. But if you want financial freedom, if you want to wake up one day and not need to go to work, you have to go beyond what school taught you. You have to develop your financial intelligence. You have to start building your asset column. You have to break free from the rat race. And it starts not with more money, but with a decision. A decision to learn. A decision to think differently. A decision to take control of your financial destiny. Robert Kiyosaki had 2 dads, and he chose to learn from both of them. You have this book. You have this video. And now you have a choice. Which dad are you going to be? If you got something out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want more deep dive book summaries that will truly change your life, subscribe to this channel and let me know in the comments, what's the one lesson you learned from Rich Dad, Poor Dad that stuck out to you the most? I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious, stay hungry to learn, and never stop learning. Take care. Thank you.